Commissioner Roach, once again.
Resolution, out of order resolution 2024-10-03, resolution reference budget amendment highway fund. Madam Chair, I so move.
I have a second, Commissioner Palmer. Second. Do we have any discussion? Mr. Barry.
I'm not sure if Mr. Jones is here tonight.
He is.
Okay. Mr. Jones, I got a couple questions.
Would you like to come up front, please?
Okay. I noticed in the wording of the resolution, Danny, it mentions that the reimbursement from FEMA and FEMA may be potential reimbursement. And, you know, to me, that sounds like a 50-50 chance. So I'm a little concerned about the wording of potential reimbursement. And then, if we get reimbursed for whatever these positions cost the county, if we get reimbursed with those potential funds, reimbursement funds, would those funds go into the highway department funds, or would they come back to the general fund?
And go back to where they came from. The general.
Dirt. They come back to the general?
No, to the highway.
To the highway.
To the highway.
Okay. Do you have the funds within your budget to cover these potential people currently?
No, that's the reason I'm asking. Since I asked for these people, I've been in more meetings with FEMA and FEMA. FEMA reimbursed 75%, state reimbursed 12.5%, and the other 12.5% you can get in kind, such if you have to buy chainsaws or stuff to do the work with, or if administrators got to go to the meetings, or something that can't be charged out per equipment or manpower. So possibility of 100% reimbursement, possibility of 85% reimbursement, and possibility of no reimbursement. It's if you've dealt with the government, you're on a daily go. The way I see it, there's a 95% chance we'll get reimbursed for cleaning up the county. And there's a 0% chance of getting reimbursed if I have to clean it up with my manpower.
You've got to clean it up anyway.
We're working on it. We got to fix it before we get reimbursed or not.
Okay. I believe too, Danny, you had mentioned that you had to do this like within 30 days. Is that within 30 days of the date of the actual hurricane, or is that within 30 days? I mean,
Whenever FEMA designates the start date.
Okay.
When they tell you, yeah, it's yours, go for it. We've got everything in place. We had to get permits to burn the brush. We had to get permits to store the brush. We had to get permits for air pollution. We're ready to go now. So, and we've got all the documentation. We're ready to start clearing.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Gibson.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Could you speak to the timeline on this? If we don't fund this temporary position and we have to clean it up with your manpower, what's the timeline look on that versus if we do have the temporary personnel?
It won't be cleaned up this time next year. And the sooner you can get it cleaned up, the more likely that we get reimbursed, because they want it done. And Jamie's been in the meetings that I've been in, and if I'm telling you wrong, he can correct me, but that's what I got from him.
How about with the personnel?
With personnel, I'm hoping 3 months.
Thank you.
That would be a whole lot depending on the weather.
Commissioner Alves?
And it's a total, if I understood you and remember correctly, 10 new positions during this, right here,
10 workers and 1 document person.
11 total then.
Right.
That's all I have.
Any other discussion?
I have one
Jan.
question, I think I threw it off the board. You currently have any vacant positions that you're currently budgeted for that the funds can be pulled from as a budget amendment, or?
First, we have a couple operator positions open because we can't find the people, but
I was just trying to see if there was some way we could offset it without allocating new money. That's all I have.
I think it's a good deal for the county that you get reimbursed, gets cleaned up for nothing. If I don't get the people and I do it myself, it's gonna be coming out of the county's dime.
I guess I'm kind of curious with his question, if you can't hire the personnel you need now, how are you gonna hire these part-time personnel?
Rotate what I have, concentrate on the cleanup. It's getting weather time, but that's our slow time, so we can take the pavers, rotate them in and some off the ditching crew and rotate them into cleanup to get the skill part of it. We just need manpower.
Commissioner Trent?
I just spoke to another road superintendent at a meeting I was just at, and he said he used this program, FEMA, for a project that they had due to a disaster, and they got $70,000. He said it took 2 years to get the money back, very difficult, and he said the aggravation that he went through with the calls and everything that he had to do to get that money, he would never do that again. And he said everything, of course, you're going to have a secretary making $18, $19 an hour to take care of all this, I suppose, but he said the bookkeeping was astronomical, that if you had a truck driver that drove to the site to work and drove back to the site, you had to pay him truck driver pay for while he was driving, but you had to pay him labor pay for while he was there, that everything had to be segregated. And he said, I would never do it again. So if you get this, and when it's over with, I want to know if you think it was worth it. We'll see.
Okay, Robbie?
Mr. Jones, so I guess one of the concerns that several people have asked me about is struggle, like, kind of like Ms. Parker said, if you're struggling right now to clean out the ditches now, with the crew you do have, what's your plans on deciding, well, this ditch looks like it's overflowed, but it really wasn't because of the hurricane. I know different parts of our county receive different damages, and some parts of the county didn't receive any damage. So what's the plan in place to decide which was disaster related and which was just normal, already packed?
Within the next month, we'll be pulling our people back where they usually would be patching potholes or doing driveway entrances, round mailboxes, just making the winter.
Some of your mowing crews can pull that.
So I plan on moving the operators and truck drivers onto the cleanup and hoping to get it cleaned up before we're ready to go back and start doing the road work.
So if those are already hired employees, would they qualify for disaster this assistance?
They would. But that's still, we work 2 weeks, we shut the whole highway department down and work 2 weeks, get the roads open in phase 1. And that still could use more men. But if I've got everything shut down and got crew leaders out and 5 crews, it's still gonna take 3 months, at least. because there's no small trees. All of them are 3 foot and root balls still on them, which is always another problem. It's a big job.
I guess my biggest question though is, if you've got a crew, if FEMA says, hey, this crew, the temporary personnel, you know, like you said in our meetings, that they're only working when the money's available. So if that's being set aside just for disaster cleanup for this temporary crew, would they pay for a crew that's already hired, that's been there for 3 years?
Once they're coming out, FEMA's done, they go back to the general when they're done.
So if you can't hire the personnel, you don't get.
Yeah, no. The personnel is extra to make more crews to get it done quick.
But what I'm saying though, if you can't hire the extra personnel to get the job done quicker, and you're already using existing employees, FEMA won't pay for it.
Us.
FEMA will pay for whatever is documented, whether they're already there or they're new employees.
So, Mr. Jones, it's kind of like with the school system. We have bus drivers and we have assistants. And sometimes your assistants drive buses, and they have 2 separate timesheets. And when they do this job, they're paid out of this fund, and when they do this job, they're paid out of this fund. So that's kind of what you're saying. You want to have employees that are going to be receiving FEMA money, but it's because they're going to be providing cleanup services from Hurricane Helene that we would have to pay out of county funds otherwise to those same people. So our money is going to sit still. Well, our money essentially is not sitting still because we're going to have to pay our money up front. But what money we pay for Helene cleanup will be reimbursed even if it's with a current employee, as long as we show that their work went for cleanup. That makes...
Exactly.
Commissioner Trent?
So your payroll should go down when you're using your current employees, and it should go on to the FEMA money.
Correct.
So your payroll should be significantly reduced with your permanent people. If you're going to use them and can't hire people.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
David Heron, District 6, by the way. Have you looked at, especially since you've got some open positions right now that you haven't filled, means you've got payroll money in the budget. Have you looked at that and looked at the cost of potentially hiring a contractor to do part of the cleanup, not necessarily hiring temporaries to put on the county's payroll, but pay a contractor to come in and do it? That way we don't have the payroll budget. And would FEMA reimburse us if we paid a contractor to do part of the cleanup?
I have to ask the team representative that answer that question.
I'm just saying, and part of the reason this got me thinking is from a liability standpoint too, because if we've got these temporary employees out here who obviously aren't skilled labor, they're general labor, stuff like that. Somebody gets hurt with a chainsaw, somebody has a log rolled over on them or anything like that, because they're a temporary employee of the county, now we've got liability from the standpoint of that employee, whereas if we hire a contractor to do the work, we don't have that liability, it's on the contractor.
I could speak a little bit to that. I know at the beginning of this, Danny chose to use his own people and not to contract out for cost reasons. The contractor cost him more. That's paying them to manage it and to do the work, more cost. The contract, if we would contract it way, would be an extended amount of time it would take to negotiate that contract now, because we're past the point where we're able to declare a local state of emergency. So that'll be a lengthy process. So I think that's part of the reason why Danny's wanting to do it this way, is to streamline some of that to get the work done within the time frame that's allowed. Is that correct, Danny? I don't want to talk for you, but that's...
You did good.
Yeah. I think that's why he's went through it.
And if you hire if you could find new employees to hire just for those temporary services, workers' comp insurance that we have, the policy we have would cover it. Correct.
How many seasonal employees do you have?
Now, I have 10.
What month do they usually come?
They're getting ready, when the mower shut down, they go home.
I'm assuming the discussion's been had with those seasonal employees to hey, there's an opportunity for you to stay on for another 3 months.
About half of them want to stay, half of them wanted to go last week. Because they're working for, they can only make so much on their social security, and they're not physically able to handle a chainsaw or drag a brush to a grinder. So,
Commissioner Gibson.
That's one quick question, Mr. Jones. What happens if you're not able to fill these temporary personnel positions? Would that fund just get turned? Those funds just get turned back in?
But you've already got 5 of them filled.
I'm pretty sure that there's 5 that will stay out of the one cruise.
Chairman, I call for question.
Thank you. Okay, question's been called for. Thank you, Mr. Jones, appreciate it. Cast your vote.
$13 yes, 1 absent.